highly recommend doing this part before you plug the thing in. Hey guys, welcome back for another one. We're out in the shop right now. We're working on this 2013 Avalon for a radiator concern and a head gasket concern. In today's video, what I wanted to do is bring you a few of my favorite tools, not everything certainly, but a few tools that I really like that kind of make this whole little operation work. So let's get into the video. All right, so the first tool on my list is going to be the MADDOX ball joint press. If you're like me and you're an independent technician working on cars, chances are you're going to work on a lot of older vehicles, and suspension components and stuff like ball joints, tie rod ends, that stuff's going to start to wear out, and you're absolutely not going to be able to do your job without a tool to remove the ball joints. You could do it, but your chances of wrecking something increase, and it just makes your life a lot easier to have one of these. I got it right here. At Harbor Freight, this tool runs about 85 bucks, and I believe back in the day, Pittsburgh actually made their own ball joint press, and I saw someone break one of those once. So MADDOX has been a pretty good brand. I have some of their brake tools, and I would say that it's just a step above Pittsburgh. I've really enjoyed the products that I've used. I thought they were all made in Taiwan, but it must just be some stuff. Other stuff like this said made in China. But OTC in comparison, which is a much better tool. Reason I got this one is I would have had to order the OTC. This one was 85. That was about 310. Is it a better tool? Yeah, but MADDOX has made some pretty solid tools, so that's going to be the first one on my list. The second tool I want to talk about today, you're going to see in action just a little bit here in this time lapse, would be the Milwaukee battery powered soldering iron. So this soldering iron is super awesome because it comes with a few different tips, and the most obvious reason it doesn't have a cord. You can see here in this clip I'm working on resoldering a circuit board on a Chevy pickup, and you can see how small the tip is on this soldering gun. Much smaller than what you're going to see on a lot of the standard corded soldering irons, and this isn't exactly what this is supposed to be used for, but with different tips, the fact that you're not dragging a cord around, you're not filling with butane. Yeah, so that soldering iron, which is actually in my basement right now because I was working on my headlights for the Audi TT, video on that coming soon, but that is super awesome. It does eat through the batteries pretty quick, which, I mean, if you're invested in a brand, you probably have a lot of other tools, which means you have a lot of other batteries. So that hasn't been an issue for me. I keep a battery charged up. I absolutely love the Milwaukee soldering iron. The MAXJAX lift. I got a love-hate relationship with this thing. It is absolutely awesome. You can see in here we got a little over 10-foot ceilings, and this is the lift that made it possible for me to have a lift in this facility in my garage, because a normal height lift isn't going to work with a low ceiling like this. This will lift a car, I believe it's 54 inches off the ground, plenty high for you to slide an office chair under there, a shop stool, and work with this thing. The price point at the time, they've since about doubled in price, was about 2,200 bucks shipped to my house. I love the lift itself, the construction of the physical lift, you know, the columns, the arms, that's all been great. I have had issues with the thing leaking on the ground. There you can see how bad it's leaking right there, and obviously it attracts a lot of dust and debris as well, but that's annoying. So what I have found is the fittings on the hoses that connect the hydraulics are not built very well on my MAXJAX lift at all. So I have had issues with fluid leaking out. The lift itself I love. Functionally, it is 1,000 times better than working on jack stands. Would I buy one at the doubled price? I believe they're about $3,800 right now. Probably not. I wouldn't have been able to afford it, but at 2,200 bucks, this thing is absolutely awesome. And someday when I move into a bigger shop, I'm definitely going to keep this as a second hoist. The other thing with my MAXJAX is just the setup. I actually had to tear the floor out of my garage. You need a minimum of 4 inches of concrete thickness, and I didn't have that, so we actually dug a hole down where the lift is mounted, and we dug it all out. We actually ended up pouring 2 feet of concrete to make. If I'm under something, putting my life in danger working under the car, I didn't want this thing to move anywhere. It is advertised to be mobile. You can see there's wheels down there on the bottom. I just leave it in one spot, and I only have this one thickened portion in my shop. But the MAXJAX, despite the setup disaster and the problems that I've been having, I am happy to have this. All right, so this next one is arguably one of my favorite tools of all time. If I had to make a video of every single tool that I have ever owned ever, these would probably make the top of the list, and they're going to be Milwaukee's cordless ratchets. I don't got any batteries in them right now. If you've been on the channel for any length of time, you already know I'm kind of a Milwaukee fanatic. You can see we got the non-fuel and the fuel version. The fuel version has about 65 foot-pounds of torque. The non-fuel brushed, I believe, is about 40, maybe 35 foot-pounds of torque. So you get a lot more power with this one, but this one's a lot sleeker. I actually gravitate towards this one more because when you're using something like this, probably because you're in a tight area. Now the clips I've included right here are actually going to be of the brushed version, the non-fuel, and a Chinese knockoff. You look at some of these clips, you can see me here using the Chinese knockoff tool, and I paid $30 for that on the Wish app. I just wanted to see exactly how close to a Milwaukee product they actually could get this thing. It worked great for about 3 months, and then it actually did crap out. But it's absolutely amazing how the Chinese reverse engineer some of this stuff and essentially rip off some of these quality tool companies. Of course, that cheap Chinese ratchet had absolutely no warranty at all, so once it crapped out and I just bought it to make a video on the channel, I just threw it in the garbage. But it did actually really scarily resemble these ratchets from Milwaukee. But I do think, honestly, these are probably the best investment I've made as a technician are these battery powered ratchets. Air ratchets are great, but I hate using that hose reel when I'm trying to work on a car and all of a sudden that thing's getting tangled up. So Milwaukee battery powered ratchets, would absolutely recommend either this one or the fuel version. Next tool on my list, we're going back to Harbor Freight. We're talking about their Icon line with these zero offset flex head ratcheting wrenches. You can see just how long these things are, make it super awesome to work on modern cars with transverse engines, stuff like that. One thing I really like about them is the button is on the side, not on the back. Again, when you're using these, it's probably in a really tight and really unfortunate position where you really don't want to be working anyway. So a lot of times when they have the button on the back, it causes a lot of issues. This button, I don't have that problem. Now, why I love these Icon ratchets so much is because I actually have zero offsets from Mac Tools. You can see these obviously aren't flex head, they're not ratcheting. That set was $400. So you can only imagine what their flex head ratcheting versions cost. I ended up going and picking up these ones from Icon, which all Icon's tools are made in Taiwan. They carry the same warranty that Harbor Freight carries with all of their Pittsburgh hand tools, lifetime warranty. You got a problem with your tool, show up and they're gonna replace it for free. But I don't like supporting the Chinese. So having something that's Taiwan made is pretty nice. The quality on those has been awesome. You can see how much leverage you could get with that wrench, and I've used and abused these things, haven't had a single issue with them, and they come in right around $190, even cheaper if you get a coupon. All right, you guys, so these are a few of my favorite tools that I've absolutely loved and have helped tremendously in my journey of working on cars back when I was at Toyota and now that I'm working on my own. MAXJAX, again, it's kind of a love-hate relationship with that thing. I've had a lot of issues with it, but it does work good despite losing fluid. So I really would like to get this resolved, and you know, at the end of the day, it is what it is. If I have to go ahead and get lines made myself with better fittings, I guess that's what I have to do. But I have other videos on the channel of that. I've tried multiple different sealers, different thread tapes. Nothing seems to work. It just keeps leaking, and it's a pain in the butt because you got to completely take it apart every time you're going to do this. So you guys, if you enjoyed today's video, drop me a comment down below, like and subscribe if you have not already. Tool review videos and repair videos come to you every single Tuesday. Thanks for watching, guys. We'll see you next time.